Hello, this is AI Insights Co. coming from you live from Jamaica, Montego Bay, and today we are representing PTS on behalf of their decision on whether they should choose Watson X versus ChatGPT. A quick agenda is that we will go over our case overview, as well as identifying the problem, going over our problem statement, our SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis, as well as any alternatives. Then we will go into our recommendation, our implementation, as well as the financials, and then the conclusion. So case overview. PTS is a 25,000 employee company that has currently tasked us in choosing IBM's new Watson X that rolled out in 2024, whether to integrate that and if it would tailor specific to their company's needs, or choose the well-known and very conversational ChatGPT, and which one would follow the data calls, its protocols, and analyze its data sets best to where PTS can get the best output for transparency and, of course, responsible innovation. So that brings us to our problem statement. For marketing, finance, and HR, as PTS continues its rapid growth, it now faces the challenge of transforming its core operations to scale efficiently, choosing between the enterprise-focused capabilities of Watson X or the very powerful conversational power of ChatGPT. Which brings us to our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats, SWOT analysis. As you can see here, we are arguing on the side of implementing Watson X. We can see that it has a very customizable AI developer studio that is usually tailored towards businesses. That has stronger governance like data protections, and it has security protocols in place than public AI tools like ChatGPT, where it's a lot less safe. We can see that this can increase productivity gains as well. But on the weaknesses, this can cause job displacement. Employees might have to get laid off due to the fact that it could cover a large portion of what employees were doing before. This can also see high costs and investments, as well as constant reinvestments, which you can see that's what it might take to grow this AI. If we want to continue being the best, this is something that we might have to face. Opportunities. In finance, this can summarize complex contracts extremely fast, allowing us to take on even more contracts if needed. This could also be a discrepancy resolution. Whether we are trying to figure out if this is the best, we are able to pull up the financials to see what it could project for us over time and which business deal we should really take. For marketing, personalized campaigns at scale, as well as editorial workflows. This could be managing content creation or even spewing out more campaigns, as well as us having that in-house AI, well, not in-house AI, but Watson X AI, we are able to analyze the performance of our campaigns, see what did right, see what did wrong, and continue to optimize it from there. Then HR, we have, of course, AI agents for self-service of the employee's workload. And this could help, workflow, which could help reduce the workload. Threats would, of course, be any rival companies or firms that are adopting the AI and continuing to expand, making us on our toes that we would have to stay ahead. Threats. AI advances may require frequent reinvestment, like I was saying before, to remain competitive. In order for PTS to be the best of the best, it may require that extra step of reinvestment. And then bias concerns that can harm our brand image. Does Watson X come with bias? How often will we have to eliminate bias so that we're making sure that we're delivering the correct thing? Which brings me to the alternatives. We could obviously migrate from Watson X to ChatGPT Enterprise. A very great user interface that has great conversational skills. But some of the cons is that it's not as secure. It's not tailored towards business, so the scalability might not be there as well. So, moving on to solution 2, we could deploy a hybrid model, getting the best of both worlds, where we could try and implement the safety and security and even the developer studio from Watson X, but the conversational skills and the user interface and the familiarity of ChatGPT in order to maximize our output. But that comes with its drawbacks as well. High costs. It comes at high cost of not only managing, high cost in IT, and high cost and longer time in development as well, which makes it a longer deploy time. Then, it's not guaranteed that watsonx could cover the ChatGPT side, which could also lead to security breaches. Which is finally leading us to solution 3, build an in-house AI platform for PTS that's custom made and tailored towards their business needs in each department. But the problem with that is that it could be expensive. It could cause longer deployment time. And yes, its pros is amazing because it could be tailored towards the business needs. It could cover every single niche that PTS has, and is mostly going to put out the best outcome because it is made from PTS for PTS. But like I said, that could cause a longer deployment time. It could be extremely expensive, and it would take a while before you see any type of return. Which leads you to my recommendation. PTS should integrate IBM watsonx's enterprise-grade AI into their company's tasks as a preferred AI. As you can see here, continuing our recommendation, we believe that over the next 3 years, if we implement watsonx, we can get a projected productivity of 40% in gains. And this is just from delegating our employees to more higher value tasks as that AI takes on the tasks that some employees were taking before, which could be automated. We also see a projected savings cost of 20% over the next 3 to 5 years through automated routines, accelerated workflow, and of course, improvements in consistency. If we were to look at it, watsonx's advantage, we have enterprise security and compliance. watsonx supports strict data privacy controls, regulatory alignment, and secure model training on proprietary data sets. It also allows for deep business workflow integration with the ERP and CRM. You can see that this analyzes platforms and it helps reduce the adoption friction between those end-to-end automations. Scalability and industry adaptability. watsonx offers modular AI services that are tailored towards businesses for scalability as well as expansion in not only finance but HR and their marketing. Which leads me to the implementation. How can PTS implement this so that it can maximize their growth? Let's give them a timeline. Starting off in 2025, this will be the phase 1 planning. This is where we have our key actions. Establish an AI management team of IT over finance, HR, and marketing. This would be overseeing the AI and helping it tailor towards each of the department's needs so that we're able to analyze our end goal, make that end goal, and begin making that AI. We can also develop custom AI applications in watsonx that would help built-in developers for tailored business needs. Then identify our KPIs, key performance indicators, which would be our cost saving of 20% projected over the next 3 years, and our productivity increase of 40% over the next 3 years, as well as revenue growth targets, which would be around 5%, which would double around 2027 and 2028. Phase 2, our department-specific use, finance. We'll use watsonx to analyze complex data sets, also summarizing them so that we can take on more data sets and see, okay, what campaign worked for us, and in terms of financials, how are we going to get the best earnings? How are we going to maximize the amount of revenue and the amount of profit that we're bringing back home, right? And this is allowing for efficiency and detailed reports. It also automates the supply and demand chain, the trade and supply chain discrepancy resolution. Marketing, we could use AI to manage multiple different campaigns, allowing us to target multiple audiences, maximizing our outreach. And in doing this, we could also help it manage content creation. It could also help us manage content creation. In content creation, it could also analyze our campaign performance. So we have the AI doing multiple different things, whether it's from analyzing performance to making content creation, which could be overseen by a creative director to make sure that, okay, this doesn't even seem like AI, but we're pumping out such a massive amount that we are bound to reach everybody. Then HR. Use custom-made AI assistants for employee self-service and onboarding policies and queries. And this can help delegate higher tasks to the HRT because we're going to have a lot of repetitive HR processes handled by that AI for better time allocation. Now we get into phase 3, which is the integration and scaling around 2026 to 2027. We would fully integrate watsonx with ERP and CRM systems for a better workflow automation. We would expand AI uses to cases to additional departments to see which department, now that we have our 3 main departments covered, could use this AI as well so that we can start scaling and maximizing output in that specific area as well. If, of course, it's proven to be operated properly. And then implement continuous feedback loops through the AI from our users to our clients to make sure we are completely accurate and removing any type of bias while still in compliance. Then the phase 4 will be the monitoring, optimization, and training. So this is around 2027 to 2028 onward, where we have established, we've seen projected results come true. We have established that, okay, there is a strategic shift, there is a strategic trend. Now we can continue to build on this because we've laid just a whole new foundation. Track financial performance projections quarterly. Are we hitting our quarterly goals? Are we hitting our quarterly quotas with this AI? Are we passing them? Are we surpassing them? How is it doing? We can monitor the AI outputs for accuracy, bias, and compliance with the proper protocols that we have set in place, making sure that it doesn't stray away and that it consistently delivers under these conditions. And then finally, provide watsonx training programs for employees so that we can encourage changes and make it easier for our employees as well. Which leads me to our financials. Over here, we have an implemented and a non-implemented and an implemented chart. And in here, you can see the difference that I'll point out to you. So, starting with revenue in the year of 2023, our revenue is the same, $1,260 to $1,610. But you'll begin to see that although this number is slightly higher in the not implemented than the implemented of 722.8, the implemented allows a lot higher profit. And I'll break that down. The cost and the expenses are the reason that our EBT in not implemented is so low. Because we are continuing to operate under the same process that we're doing, our employee cost and our cost in overall business automation and expenses, man-made, are extremely high. So you can see over the projected years, it goes to 785, then 84, then 89 to a peak of 962. Whereas our expenses also increase. From 120, it drops a little bit to 118, but then goes to 122, 126, 130, and it looks like it's steadily climbing as the years go on. Which means that our EBT went from 707, but then began to decrease and see a sudden fall off from obviously peaking off at 601 from where the highest point was at 707. But if we look over at the implemented, although the revenue was majority the same and then fell off a little bit, you can see that our cost went up 2024, but then actually decreased once we implemented the AI in 2025. Then decreased again. And then hit an amazing low of 628 million in cost, which means our expenses were low as well. From 120 to 118, we implemented the AI, and our expenses stayed the same around that 118 million mark, which means that we were able to maximize a lot more profits, and we were able to maximize a lot more gains. In this one, 510 to 825, they're the same, but then this one drops off to 739, while this one's 846. This one drops off to 761, while our final gross profit goes to around 1.09 billion. You see this here, earnings before tax, 631 compared to 977. Overall, the financial difference over this 5-year period is a total of $1.7 billion in additional profit under the implementation scenario, which helps prove the strategic shift. Financials continued. Just to give you a chart, this is the earnings before tax comparison, where the green acts as the implemented and the red acts as the non-implemented. We're on the same track. Around 2024, we decided to implement the AI, as well as around 2024, there's a scenario where we didn't implement the AI. We see steady growth, peaking at this very high bar at 1.09 in 2028 if implemented, whereas in EBT, the red, not implemented, drops off and we go lower than what we were in 2024. The cost trends, the red acts as the not implemented, while the green acts as the implemented. You can see here, this is in 2024 when we decided to implement the AI. The implemented scenario, costs drop significantly and start to fall here around the $650 million mark, whereas costs skyrocket to the billions by 2028, just steadily increasing without seeing any fall. Which brings me to my conclusion. Optimizing watsonx will help allow PTS to not only reduce costs, but maximize profits as well. It will increase productivity and help unlock significant revenue growth, delivering in $1.7 billion in additional profit over the next 5 years. This phase rolls out ensured smooth integration and scalability and strong governance, positioning PTS as a leader in secure, ethical, and effective AI adoption. Thank you. If I had my family, I would help them with the Q&A, but they're currently getting ready. So moving on, we have a chart to compare watsonx versus ChatGPT in the implementation process. And this is what we would project the productivity to be in comparison of if we compare watsonx to ChatGPT, the EBT growth. As you can see here, the revenue forecast. We have our empathy map as well. Says that we need AI to improve efficiency, watsonx seems more secure, and that AI could free up higher value tasks. Concerned about training time, wondering about the return on investment in 3 years, and curious how competitors are using AI. This is what we think. What we do is that we attend AI vendor meetings, we review cost-benefit reports, and we engage with IT teams to assess integration readiness. And then finally, fields. Excited about innovation, anxious about changing impact, and motivated to be an industry leader. And that is our last slide. Thank you.